Hey folks, Mac T here, and what powers your drive? Yes, got the whole program going, and remember that little statement, because the future lies in that one-liner. Yes, it does. Not gonna say what it means, but anyway, welcome group, and welcome to the live stream. This is the first ever live stream that I'm doing through a new system. So I have a lot of, excitement about it. I'm really excited about this new update and how things are going to be working out. So I hope you all are seeing me. You can add on to the group page here. Say, give me the thumbs up that everything's streaming that you need to see. And of course, I'm happy with it. But anyway, I see that I got it going. So we're going to move on. And as always, what do? I do the new member thing, and I want to introduce all the new members if I can find it. You guys have been going crazy here posting, so I got to keep up. But let's go ahead and start with the new members. Welcome to the group and to the family, to our new members for MACTFORDEDGE. And we got a Rob, a Ron, Cindy, Freddie, Sarah, Andrew, Alexis, Thaddeus, Joshua, John, Julie, Aaron, Britt, another John, Linda, Tammy, Johnny, Jamie, Hosam, Thomas, Aziz, Remy, Vincent, Harry, George, Renato, Taylor, Nathan, Abo, Danielo, Daniel, Ryan, Marcos, and Jessica, just under the wire, joining today. That is 34 new members, folks, in just 1 week. And I guess we're on track to hitting well over 2,000 members by the second year of this group. So that means what? We're putting in 1,000 members a year, and it's snowballing. It's starting to get to be more and more. And this group, of course, made up by wonderful people that I enjoy. And, of course, you guys are always nice to each other, because remember, our rules are from what we learned in kindergarten, and that applies to everything we do. So anyway, what have we been up to? We've been up to a lot of different stuff. You all saw what I did with Lou as far as the front end. So I made a video, did a live posting of that. So you all saw that and know what it's all about. So anyway, I love it. I love your response. Thank you so much. And hopefully it gives some of you the incentive to make your Ford Edge Lincoln MKX your own. That's right. Make it yours. And after I did this work here, I talked to a dear friend of mine here in a local area. And you know what? He saw what I've done with my Edge. And he wants me to register my Edge in with the car show with his car, because he has a classic car, but he says they got a group for my type of vehicle, and he wants me to go with him, and we both register together and enter our vehicles, because he thinks it'll be a good thing to have my Edge in there, what I'm doing, and other things like that. He says, because there's people that have, I guess, a contemporary class of vehicle, and you can bring your regular, somewhat up-to-date vehicle in there and just show it off. So this coming summer, I may actually enter my Edge in a car show, and just for fun. I ain't planning on winning nothing, but I just want to have fun, and that's what it's all about. So I'll be doing that. But as with all things, we want to move on. I've been researching the Ford news for anything new, and the most that we had was some, weird pictures of a Ford Edge that, quite frankly, didn't look like it had many body changes to it. The lines under the covers all look pretty much standard. I think they're testing number one, drivetrain and electronics and things like that. I think they just took a standard platform, inserted all the new drivetrain engine, whatever they're doing in the electronics, and they're just trying to see how it works, and of course do testing that way. Body style changes are probably coming, but not much there. I guess the only notable thing car-wise is that the Kuga, they've ramped up manufacturing of the Kuga, and if you don't know what the Kuga is, it is a Ford Escape, and I guess Spain really loves those things. So they're ramping up production as far as the Kuga, which is a Ford Escape, and they're going to be making a lot more of those down there in Spain because they really love them. So we're going to move on then from Ford news to upcoming projects. I do have something coming up, winterizing your vehicle, and I'm not talking fluids. I'm talking other things that you need to do to help make your life a little more convenient and easier. And I will be talking and doing that and putting that video. I already got the video, I just haven't put it together and edited it. But that will be coming up. And I think this winter, as the snow really starts getting ready to hit, this might be something you want to do real quick before the ice and snow and all that flies. So, you know, I got a little short clip on that to help you get yourself ready for that part of it. And what else did I do? Of course, I did all the lights, but I also have some other things that are underway. It's looking like I may dive into the oil pressure sensor replacement. I don't have a problem with my Edge. I'm doing it for y'all. But you know what? While I'm under there changing the oil, it's just as easy to change that. So I will show you how simple that is. It's a pretty simple thing. And you know, go from there as far as how that's working. I do have a review of the Hyundai Santa Fe and my take on it, and trust me, you might be surprised, but then again you might not. You know, we'll just leave it at that. But I do have my take on the comparison of the Ford Edge to the Hyundai Santa Fe, and you know, you guys can weigh in what you feel on that one. I know I got my experience with it, and that's probably enough for me. But either way, it has its purpose. It's just not for me. So we'll just leave it at that. But as far as everything else going on project-wise, it's getting cold out, so that means I'm going to have to start paying to use the garage. So I'm trying to delay that a little bit. That I don't like to go pay the garage to go work. So because it costs money, and YouTube's being a little funky on me right now, and I got to make sure I buy the groceries for the kids, right? So we're doing that, but I'll work on something. And then this summer, I'm still on the how do you say it, the fence post. I'm not quite certain yet, but Lou may get a new water pump this summer. If I can work it out with one of the members here and get a couple days to make sure we got it fixed right, because I don't want to head down the road and have problems, but if that works out, okay, I will change Lou's water pump. And then we'll dissect that water pump, and we will see what a water pump with, say, 230-some thousand miles on it looks like. Whatever it is that I have on it. It's just for me to help you all, and there is no real detailed videos on this. So I'm figuring that, this might help everybody understand how to change that water pump, because the things I see are little snippets or people telling you what they did, but no one actually showing you what they did. Okay? And you know me, it's not going to be a one-parter. It might not be a two-parter. It might be a three-parter, because that is what I'm doing. And I got a phone call coming in. Somebody you all may know. Let's see who it is. Who is this? Who is this?
This is Stephen Aston.
It is?
From Canada.
Stephen Aston from Canada. I'm not so sure this is Stephen Aston. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Huh? Is this Stephen? How you doing, Mano?
No, this is Stephen Aston.
Okay, Stephen.
I'm running up in Tokyo right now.
You are?
Oh, yes.
And Stephen,
Right?
how cold is it up there, Stephen?
Bye-bye. I got to run this truck
Goodbye. Oh, well, that's Steven. I'm thinking that was an impersonation. I'm not sure. The real Steven might call to complain about the impersonator. I'm not sure. But anyway, lots of projects I'm doing, folks, and I'm trying to keep things moving on that. But rest assured, if I do that water pump, I'm going to try to do a detailed video on it and make sure it's worth your while to watch and, of course, learn, along with anything else that may pop up. But right now, you know, maintenance is key, folks, and my edges are running great because they are maintained. Let's see, what do we got here? We have a lot of PTU and differential things, and I will get to that later because that is the main topic here about what we're doing and everything. And I just want to make sure that you all understand some of the things going on with those. But we got Jan Keys working on his. We have Nick. He's working on also draining his oil and wanting to do a Fumoto valve on it. And he can't get the darn drain plug out because the guys at the Quick Lube Oil Change places apparently installed it back in with an impact wrench or something. He can't get the darn thing off. So you just got to be careful about these quick oil change places. These kids go in there and they wrench them on like they don't ever want them to come off. And if they get them spun in there and you can't get the threads out, you have to replace the oil pan, folks. If worst case scenario, if they strip the threads off and it can't get a bite to back it back out, then you're going to have to pull the oil pan off to get the darn thing replaced. That's going to be an expensive endeavor, so you need to pay attention to what they're doing there. What else do we got? We got Jorge. He's trying to figure out how to take his windshield wipers off, and I do have a video on that showing me taking that off when I was working on the strut replacement. So that video would probably be very beneficial. And it's just a small puller, folks. You put it on the end there, take the nut off, and then just pull it off. Sometimes the pullers aren't good quality. That's the problem. So you got to make sure you got a good puller. Otherwise, you're going to fight it, okay? And don't be banging on it with a hammer. Then you buy a new windshield. So we want to make sure you do that. Let's see, what else we got? Vent visors for the 15 plus model years. We got Corey asking questions on that. So if you've got vent visors on there, by all means, give him a little twirl on there as far as answering his question for those vent visors. Let's see, what else do we got? ATF Drain and Fill. Again, we do stress there's no such thing as a need for a flush. And I am just as guilty as saying that when I made my videos. It is not a flush. It is a fluid exchange machine. So, you know, terminologies make a big world of difference. So don't ever let anybody tell you they want to flush your transmission, because that entails a lot of possible problems. But a fluid exchange pump is nothing more than a pump that pumps out a quart, pumps in a quart. It's just going in and out until it changes out 12, 14 quarts, whatever it is, and then you're done. So it's just a fluid exchange machine. By the way, those fluid exchange machines, I've seen one of the members mention that they had bought one. It was like $399 on Amazon. Those are not expensive machines, and they charge you, what, $150 to do it? You know, take out the price of the transmission fluid. You know, that's a little profitable little machine there for them to do that. So, you know, I just use my Pella. It cost me $50, and it does a great job. Now, here's the thing. This is a call-in, folks. If you want, you can get a hold of me through Messenger, Bill Trammell, and hit that phone icon, okay? And you can call me on my phone. Yes. Call me. I will answer it on Facebook, just like I did that prank call that I just got. Call me, ask a question. If you want to ask me a question, make sure you got your computer screen turned down or whatever you're using, because the echo will be really bad. So call me on your phone, Facebook app, whatever you want to do. I will answer it, and of course you can ask your question to me while I'm on, and we'll try to discuss and answer a problem, or maybe you're just curious and want to ask something about my Ford Edge, or maybe a little bit about me. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do, just get on that Facebook app, Messenger app, and of course call me via that, and we can get your question answered. And I'll wait for any of you to call in for that. But remember, turn the sound down. That way we don't have a bad echo. Let's see. We got Julie. She has got a 2012 Edge, and she has AC and heat, but the airflow is only through her regular vent, and it's not through the defrost or the floor. That looks like a diverter there. It might be a problem. And again, I explained, need to try to disconnect the battery, do a hard reset. It might be the actual controller module for the climate control that has gone bad, or just needs a good hard reset. And if that don't work, disconnect battery, all that good stuff, then you may need to take it into the dealer for a reprogram. And if that doesn't work, then you got to replace the climate control. And gosh, I hope it's not the actual diverter inside the dash there, because that can get pricey and you don't want to go that route. So hopefully it's just an electronic control issue in programming, and you'll get it fixed. Let's see. And of course there was some tips on how to do it yourself as far as trying to reinitiate it. So by all means do that. Now we got Jan King calling in. Let's see what he has to say. Okay, Jan, we got you. What's up?
Hey, Bill.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to listen to your feed, but it's getting all garbled and fed back.
Oh.
Have you seen the notes posted?
No, I haven't seen the notes at all.
It's getting fed back to everybody real bad.
I don't know why it would be, but
It's like an echo that's coming back to everybody. But you got me okay, right? You're still going live?
yeah, I'm going live. I don't have my speakers on, so I don't know why there's an echo in here.
I'm on with Steven right now. He's writing me right now. Let me see what he says. Let me see if it's fixed.
I turned my speakers all the way.
It's really bad right now. It's like feedback. It keeps looping on top of itself.
I don't know why it would be doing that. I don't have any speakers on or anything, so.
Of course, it's not doing it to me because I'm talking to you with your phone.
Yeah. I don't know why it would be looping back. Studio mode,
It's starting to get really bad right now, is what Steven says. Although I like this kind of thing. This is kind of cool.
Okay, I turned desktop audio off. Let's see if that does anything.
Alright.
You guys have to tell me. Like I said, this is all new, so I'm just trying to get everything figured out. But I'm also rested.
I'm going to ask Steven what he says.
Yeah, ask Steven, see if it is working any better.
No.
Don't know what's going on. It didn't do it the other day.
Still the same.
Well, it didn't do it the other day, so I don't know what's going on this time. Why it's
You're put it out like that, and then it went away, and then it came back for some reason, and now it's still there.
Well, I don't know. It's
Nana wants to know if your phone is on.
my
Maybe it's feeding back through another phone or another device.
no. The only thing I got on is of course the camera and then my microphone. I could try to change microphones, I guess.
Let me see what this does. Let me see if I can still hear it. Huh.
How about now? Can you hear it?
Live?
Can you hear it? Is it better?
Well, I can hear myself come back now through the live feed, but the echo is gone.
The echo is gone? I've changed something. Let me know if you guys are getting an echo. I went and changed something.
Alright. He says it works now.
Okay, well, I unplugged a microphone. I guess I had two microphones working. So I was using my snowball. You guys see the snowball? You probably can't see it, but okay, I know my snowball don't work, so I'm using the actual microphone now for the webcam. So is that working? Is that better, everybody?
The ceiling light.
The what?
The ceiling light.
All right. The ceiling light. How's that?
Yeah,
Sorry, can't do much. But anyway, can everybody hear you, Jan? I guess is the question.
yeah, I can hear, and it sounds good. And Steve says, tell Bill that was not me calling. But he says it's working now.
Okay, well, I learned that I cannot use my snowball microphone and I guess desk cam here at the same time. I thought the better sound would come through it. So anyway, lessons learned. Got it figured out anyway. So, I mean, Jan, since you're on, you know, I might as well cover the PTU with you and go over that. Because didn't you work on a PTU just a little bit?
Yeah. My spooge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's something. How many miles you got on your PTU?
103.
103. Now, listen to this. I have another member I sent one of my oil samples to. And to be quite honest, Jan, I sent this to them. And they went and put their spooge, I guess, as you're saying, into it. And it was like grease. And for the first time in my life, I had sent, I kid you not, folks, this gentleman sent the sample to Blackstone. And for the first time in over 2 years of me sending samples in, Blackstone laboratory technician took the effort to call me and ask me if the PTU is still running.
Wow.
139,000 miles on this PTU, Jan. And this guy was so concerned with this oil sample, with the metal count that was in it, that he wanted to make sure he let us know that, hey, this thing is a grenade. And
I think mine looked the same. And I sent a sample to Blackstone as well.
they'll probably call you too.
So I'm hoping, well, one, I'm hoping that it's a little bit better than his, but I'd like you to compare them if you can.
Well, I'm going to go over this one here a little bit, so maybe you could understand. But I'm going to read the narrative because this ought to tell everybody. And this is at 139,000 miles, folks. 139, never been changed. And this is what the Blackstone lab said. Very first sentence. There is a lot of metal here. We do have a few other samples from Ford PTUs with similar amounts of metal, so we're not sure how dire this is, but it is enough metal that there could easily be a problem. We have heard that these units are prone to overheating and subsequent problems that arise from that. Maybe that's what we're looking at here. The viscosity is thick for a 75-140 and maybe due to excessive heat. So what they're saying is this lube is being excessively heated, and we all know that. I mean, your 11.8 ounces of fluid cannot handle a lot of heat. But he says silicone Could be dirt that's in there, but it's unlikely because it's a closed system. The water shouldn't be in there either. There is water in this sample. And of course, they said, well, change oil and check back in 10,000 miles. But let me tell you, universal quantities. Get this. Universal average for this fluid is 137 parts per million aluminum. This oil sample had 11,876 parts per million in aluminum. Again, chromium. Chromium is usually 3. This one had 19 parts per million chromium. Chromium is what they put on the outside of the bearings. Okay? The next one, hold on to your socks. 400 parts per million is normal, universal average for iron. This PTU had 1,689 parts per million of iron. And then copper. Copper is made of your bearings, have copper in them. Okay? Normal average of copper is 6 parts per million. And this guy has 491 parts per million copper. And let me see. Some of the others are, I'm going to skip them because they're real close to universal averages. But then we had another one, molybdenum. The normal is 1. He had 4. That's not too terribly bad, I guess, overall. Then he had nickel. Nickel is one of the alloys. It's supposed to be 0. He had 12.
Wow.
Okay.
It makes you wonder if he's got any gears left.
Yeah. Manganese. The manganese is supposed to be 0, and he's at 44 parts per million. This thing's eating itself alive. And then wait till we get to silicon. Now, we know the seals are made of silicon, right?
Right.
That would be your silicon. Yeah, get ready for this. Normal silicon content universally is 305 parts per million. 2,526 parts per million silicon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. Okay. And then, maybe whatever. The normal average for phosphorus is 914. He's burned up all his phosphorus. He's only got 279 left. Okay. And then the zinc, 122 parts per million. The universal average is 10. Now get this. They highlighted this. The viscosity at 210 degrees, the normal viscosity at 210 degrees Fahrenheit is between 99 and 140. His was reading 176. That's like throwing Play-Doh in your PTU.
Yeah, that's what mine looked like.
And then the normal viscosity at 100 degrees Celsius, okay, is 20.1 to 29.7. He was running 37.45. So the viscosity was paste. And then the PTU tested positive for water. Now, you know, the water could have got in there from an external source, or it could be in the PTU if he drove in floods or something. But I asked him, and he said no, he hadn't done it. So no idea about the water. But this PTU, if I personally got this type of test back, I'd be starting to go out and get my piggy bank broke and start getting ready to put a new PTU in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're going to do when you get your results. If they call you, you might as well just run to Ford and put in a standing order, right?
Put in a new one, yeah.
just.
My original game plan was just to check it out, and since we know it's paste, maybe just clean it out and try to flush it a little bit. But it's gone.
Well, at this point, Jan, the thing that you need to really think about is that I need to plan on a new PTU, but in the meantime, I'll put new fluid in it and try to start changing it. Now Now, some people probably tell you, right, Jan? Oh my gosh, if you change the fluid, it's just going to destroy it. It's already destroyed, right? For the most part. So by putting new lubricant in, you're allowing things to be slippery, which may help in the process of driving it anyway and help decrease any loss. But we've got some PTUs, the gears are just all gnarled up, and you've seen those pictures, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, and there's no saving that. And putting new gear fluid in that, you know, we can understand. Well, that, I might as well just buy a new one. But if you're at that point and these results come back, at least you got a forewarning that I need to do this.
Right.
And I always look at maintenance like this. I want to change my parts on my time rather than, because I go on the road so much. So if I know my PTU is going, I'm going to change it on my time rather than pushing it and changing it on the dealership on the road's time. Because
I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean,
absolutely.
And
not only that, but you've got some bargaining with you on that. If I go
Man.
in early and I say I don't have to do it, but I'm pricing it out, you can get some a little off the top there.
You sure do. And that makes all the difference in finances too. I mean, it's a planned expense rather than an unplanned expense. And if you know you got to buy it, then financially you're better off that way than, like just, oh my gosh, what I do. It's like me with my parts shelf I got. If I have an injector go bad, guess what? I got 6 injectors in my parts box. I got an LCA sitting on the shelf, okay? I mean, I got spare parts laying around. Something goes wrong, I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go. And I even got old coils. So if I got a coil that pops, I can throw another coil in. It ain't like I got to stop and order anything. I can move and I can get stuff done. But that's just me, and how I do things, I guess. But, maintenance is the planning part of it. But we can see that PTU that I just read you, that thing's toast. And, most people would look at it and say it's toast. But it's still running. Believe it or not, the guy is not complaining about any noise. Which, maybe not. But how long will it run with?
Mine's still running too. I mean, there's no clunks. It's not making any noise. It's smooth as all get out. Yeah. I mean, I can't explain that, but I know it's toast.
It's only a matter of time, right?
Yep. It is from here on out, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at, what is that on the end of that screwdriver? Is that metal?
That's what's left of the fluid.
There's no fluid left.
It's just that thick goo.
Oh, well, you put new in then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you put the new in. How long are you going to drive it before you drain it again?
1,000 miles.
And then you're going to hopefully wash out some of that stuff and then do it again?
Well, I'm not sure. I may or may not. I'm going to test it again and see what it looks like and see if it improves. See if it gets worse.
Let's see. I got something bad, but maybe miraculously it'll get better. Okay, I like your logic. That works for me. It's the magical healing PTU. Ford didn't tell us. Yeah.
A little bit better.
But
Hopefully extend the life out a little bit.
It's amazing. I know a lot of folks on this group get on here about the PTU and, who gets the drain plug. And you've probably heard, just like I have, the PTUs that are in the sports for the 2015 plus, they're getting a drain plug.
Yeah.
And the PTUs in the Middle East all have a drain plug. I've seen them. They have drain plugs. But for the life of me, we've been at this PTU thing for how long now for Ford? At least a decade. That makes sense? A decade. And they're only putting them in the sports, the police interceptor units, and the Middle East PTUs. They're not putting it in any of the all-wheel drives of anything less than a sport. So if you bought a titanium, if you got a limited, if you got an SEL with a PTU in the United States, you don't get a drain plug.
So what about the other Ford all-wheel drives, like the Escape? Do they have drain plugs?
No.
None of them do.
None of them do. That's my whole point behind Ford, in that, why don't they just give up on this 150,000 mile deal and just admit that you need to change your fluid every 15,000 miles, put a drain plug in every PTU, and let the consumer be happy.
Well, I think that should be stated. I mean, you know that when you get an all-wheel drive car, you know?
Yeah, but Ford still goes up and...
You accept the fact that there's going to be more maintenance to it, and they're trying to make it, what, cheaper or something?
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to, because when you buy a car, folks, right, you're thinking, oh, it's a new car. I won't have to do any maintenance. I mean, most people think that way, right? Yeah. That buy a car. You go to the average person out there and they're going to say, oh, new car, I won't have to do anything to fix it. And, then there's guys like you and me, we buy used cars. So we're buying somebody else's thought process that I'll buy it, I'll drive it I'll lease it, I'll beat it to death for less than 36,000 miles, then I'll trade it in and get me another one. I never have to worry about fixing a car. But they didn't do anything to it other than the bare minimum at that point. Now, a 36,000 mile one, not much is going to happen. You could probably get away with it and rescue it. I bought rental cars with, two of my cars are rentals, and I bought them. You can rescue them because Lou is a rental, and look how good it's running. You can catch up on the maintenance to a point. Right. So that's not a big thing. But if you buy an Edge with a PTU in it, that should be a flare. I mean, ask them, hey, did you ever change the fluid in your PTU? Oh no, it never gave me a problem. They said it's good for 150,000 miles. Oh yeah, great job, thanks. I'll see ya.
That's where they get.
Yeah. And that's why I tell them, you do an oil sample on that, and if it comes out clean, I'll buy it. And the dealer ain't going to do that. They're going to say, oh, we'll give you a warranty. You'll be fine.
The guys that pulled this stuff out said it was just a chore getting it out, trying to change it.
Yeah.
It's like peanut butter,
Yeah, you put peanut butter in your PTU?
What's that?
You put peanut butter in your PTU?
No, it was like peanut butter.
Oh, it probably worked just as good, though. Peanut butter gets warm, it gets all sloshy, it'd probably do the same thing.
It was like pulling peanut butter out of there.
Holy cow. Wow, that's a nasty deal there, isn't it? Amazing all by itself in that aspect. But hopefully it's quiet right now, right? Like you said, smooth and okay. You might have dodged that bullet, but I'm doubting it.
Yeah, I mean, if I get another 50,000 out of it, I mean, like right now, it doesn't owe me anything.
Yeah.
I've got 103,000 on it and haven't done a thing to it.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't think it owes me anything.
And that it may go another 50,000 now that you put more oil in it.
Well, yeah, and especially if the other guy got 140 out of it.
So, hey, you're ahead of him at least, right? Oh.
And I'm good for at least another 39.
Well, we'll have to keep track of you on this one and see what actually happens.
Yeah, right.
You'll probably be telling me over on Facebook here next week. And it's in the garage. The new fluid did it in. It didn't like the good stuff. Oh, amazing. Simply amazing on that. But yeah, this PTU thing, you going back to that, I've talked to the mechanics at a police barn or a public works barn, and they do all the maintenance on the Ford Interceptors. And they were having PTU failures right and left. Then once they got tired of that, they started taking and changing out the fluid every 10,000 miles on the Interceptors, and then they stopped ordering new PTUs from Ford. So then a Ford rep came down and asked them, "Why did you stop ordering PTUs, and what did you do to stop the destruction of them?" And the simple answer they gave Ford was, "Well, we started changing the fluid every 10,000 miles."
Right.
And they don't even take the top fill plug out there, Jan. You know how they do it? They got a big syringe that they fill up with about 16 ounces of fluid. And then they take the drain plug out and drain it. And once it's done draining, they stick that plunger into that fill hole. And then they just plunge that fluid up in there, then pull the plunger out, and they figure by the time it gets done draining a little bit and they get the plug in there, they're about 12 ounces.
Is that right?
That's all they do. They don't even go up top. They just fill it up through the drain plug. Pretty neat, huh? They just use a big syringe and shove it right up in there.
Yeah.
And then they just button her up. They figure they lose a little bit, but they put a little bit more. They don't put 16. I think they put about 14 in. And they figure by the time they get the plug in there, they've lost about an ounce or two. And then they just fill it up and move on. They don't have problems. Okay? So, you know, that's how they fill them. And I'd do that. It's simple.
Well, it sounds to me like the Ford rep was trying to sell more PTUs.
Yeah, they probably trying to convince them not to change the fluid anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, in my local city here, they said they went from replacing PTUs all the time to replacing none, just because they started doing the maintenance.
Yeah.
So.
Well, unfortunately, I got to give it to you guys in this channel, but yeah, I didn't even know about the PTU until, you know, maybe a year ago, maybe 9 months ago. So that's why I have so high mileage. I didn't even know about it, but now I'm into it knee deep.
Yeah. Well, you imagine, you know, I told them when with me, you know, the way I drive, if I did buy an all-wheel drive, and it's getting tougher and tougher not to get an edge without all-wheel drive.
Right.
You know, I'd probably end up telling the dealer, hey, if I buy this edge and it's all-wheel drive, will you throw in, or we might as well just order another PTU now.
Right.
Because I'm figuring I'm going to wear this thing out, even if I change the oil in it every 10,000 miles. I'm going to wear the darn thing out. I have a garage full of dead PTUs. So, you know, we'll just go there.
My biggest trouble with all of this, with the PTU, was going to a Ford dealer and them not knowing what a PTU was. I've been to 3 states. And it's this third state, finally, I went to a private shop that apparently were Ford experts, and there was one guy in the shop that says, I know exactly what a PTU is.
The technicians didn't know.
Technicians at Ford didn't know. I had to go back and talk to somebody. Came back and didn't know anything about servicing it or anything.
Oh, that may be.
Made me look like an idiot, you know?
What do you mean a PTU? You don't have one of those.
Yeah.
You should have told him, well, where's the RDU then?
Yeah.
Have you changed your RDU out?
No.
No? You're going to let that go, right?
I'm going to let that one go.
We're going to let that one just simmer on the back of the stove for a while, see what happens, right? You know, I've heard those things cost more than the PTU.
Really?
Yeah, they're part of your axle system and everything. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated. You're pulling all sorts of stuff out there. So, but it's not near the heat either. You know, that's the thing. It is not near the heat. So technically, that thing is probably good for 150,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but you know, it's worth pulling the cover off and tossing in some new fluid, if nothing else.
How many have you done?
Of the RDUs?
Yeah.
I've
Have you beat out Lou or anything like that?
no, Lou don't have an RDU. She's all front wheel drive.
That's right, you're all front wheel drive.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'll throw a pair of snow tires on there and pass the guys with the all-season all-wheel drive edges.
Yeah.
I've never had a need for all-wheel drive, and I've learned a long time ago, the less moving parts, the cheaper it is to maintain.
There you go.
So, you know, I stick with it. Better gas mileage, everything else. So it's not that I wouldn't want one. It's just for my job, I don't need the extra maintenance headache.
Right.
You know, front wheel drive does perfect. If it's that much snow, what should I do?
Not drive.
Stay home. Snow day. Hey kids, Dad's skipping work today. You know?
Not driving. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I just got that brand new front end on. We don't want to mess that up either, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, it's a big mess, and of course that PTU is definitely going to be a pain in your side, if nothing else, in the future probably. So, at least you're aware of it with the oil test results, and you can put your thought into what you want to do in the future. And let's see, what you got, kids or anything too?
Do I have what?
Kids?
I have kids. Yeah, my youngest is 22.
Well, there you go. He's young. He can crawl under there and manhandle that thing out of there.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to be.
Steven's trying to call you.
Who is?
Steven.
Oh, who cares about Steven? He's some Canadian. He already called me once.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He called.
That wasn't him.
It had to be him. It sounded like him, you know, high voice and falsetto. It sounded just like Steven.
I thought it was Steven. I was convinced.
Yeah, yeah. Good thing the audio was garbled. It probably worked out pretty good for that.
That's right. Bad audio, long distance, and, you got a second opinion here, and I certainly thought it was Steven.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, let's see. I don't have any real TSBs that I was studying on here. We're running out of time, but we do have a course, what I call the Spotlight video. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you like those Spotlight videos?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm trying to get...
YouTube doesn't take them down for you.
Yeah. But you know, I got a lot of different one, and I got essentially. What did I get here? I got John Osborne. Yes, folks, John Osborne. He made a video. It's not fully complete, but you know, he had his radio going. I had to put in a little music from Kevin Messner to hide the funky stuff he was listening to. But anyway, it was popular in the 80s. That's all I can say. But anyway, I got this video going here, Spotlight video, folks. And I want you, of course, on this YouTube channel, you'll see this Spotlight video for John. Welcome, MACTFORDEDGE Group, to
to the inside of my 2011 Ford Edge Sport all-wheel drive. Currently has 66,603.7 miles. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see the odometer there. So, not much really on the inside, just the license plate there on the dashboard for now, because the license plate bracket is on its way from Ford. Passenger seat, usually where Lily sits when she's with me. And no one really rides in the back. This seat is hardly ever used. Have the Vista sunroof up here. Sunshade works nicely, but I'm going to have to work on the sunroof there because it's a little sticky. But that would be no problem. I can always pull it inside at work and take care of that real quick. Auto dim rear view mirror. Sync 2, premium sound, and push button start with intelligent access, and aluminum pedals, of course, since this is a sport model. Going to be ordering all-weather floor mats here pretty soon for the winter. Yeah, so that's the inside of this Edge here.
And folks, that was a great video, wasn't it? Yes, Mike went and did a great job. And of course, Jan's here watching it with us. What do you think, Jan? Was it a good video?
It was awesome.
All right. The modern world of video editing, right there, Jan? But anyway, we've got a lot discussed on the PTU, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and what do you think everybody should do for their PTU?
Well, change out the oil regularly, obviously.
Yes, and maintenance is key in this group anyway, because what do we usually tell somebody? Says, hey, I'm new here. I just bought a Ford Edge. It's a 2012. What should I do? Next thing you know, we're having to give it a complete fluid transfer, right? That's pretty much it. That way you know where you start. So that's usually what we try to work on. But anyway, I think we've burned up a lot of our time here. Jan, I thank you for joining me today. And, of course, covering this PTU. And hopefully we can get some more folks to call in next time. This was the PTU one, and you called in just in time for that. So as with all things, this is MACTFORDEDGE, folks. And, of course, Jan is here today with us as a special guest speaker, if nothing else. He's now a celebrity in kind on MACTFORDEDGE. Yay, Jan. Anyway, remember, Facebook. Is Facebook, MACTFORDEDGE, Facebook good on for you? Okay. Good way to learn stuff, right? So Jan gives us a thumbs up. So join up here at MACTFORDEDGE and YouTube channel, folks. Just keep in mind, hit that like button and subscribe. We're now over 3,500 subscribers and growing. And of course, if you do want to get a hold of me, remember, I do not do comments on YouTube. If you want to get a hold of me, you have to go to the Facebook group and join the Facebook group. That's where you're going to get a hold of me. And also, don't forget my SoundCloud podcasts. They will feature things that I do not talk about here on Facebook. And also, they do not feature things generally that I talk to on YouTube. So if you want to enjoy a podcast while you're driving down the road listening to me, of course, I address different issues there. And then last but not least, our music group is who, Jan?
Kevin Messner.
And the what?
Oh, Band of One.
Band of One, yes. Following this, we're going to hear the wonderful music from Kevin Messner of Band of One. And then, of course, Mercy Grill is going to give us what?
Some one-liners.
There you go. He's been watching the video. Some one-liners from Mercy Grill. And then some bonus footage at the end. You all have a great day. And remember, my feet hit the floor. and I'm having a great day, and I want you all to have a great day too. And with that being said, let's let them have at it for what we got at the end.
Thank you for watching MACT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Go production.